Welcome to another edition of Parks Are for People. I'm your host, Frank Ryan, and we've got a show full of adventure for you this time around. First, we'll put you in the saddle as we take a look at one of the few steer roping arenas in LA County. You'll get a kick out of the youth soccer tournament we spent some time at. After that, we'll turn you into a model airplane pilot as we look in on the Antelope Valley Model Aircraft. Then it's off to the Devil's Punch Bowl for a winter hike through the canyon. We'll tour the S Hart Park and Museum in Newhall, but first, let's sharpen our arrows as we take a lesson in the sport of archery. Experts believe the invention of the bow and arrow to be one of the three most important turning points in human history, along with the development of speech and the discovery of fire. Before the bow and arrow, man's only protection against his predators were sticks and stones and his ability to run fairly fast. With the invention of the bow and arrow, man became the hunter instead of the hunted. Archery is a tradition that goes back at least 100,000 years. Today, we're going to become part of that tradition and take a lesson in the ancient sport of archery. Welcome back to more Parks Are for People. Frank Ryan here with Ken Hiroshita, who is the owner of Archers Haven, located in Monrovia, and also a member of the El Monte Archers. The guys practice down here at Whittier Narrows Regional County Park. Ken, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me here.
He's going to give me an introductory lesson at this point, and I think we should get started on some of the basics. Ken, in doing our homework for this assignment, we've discovered that there are two different types of bows, the compound and the recurve. Could you tell us about the difference?
Well, the difference being today's modern-day bow is the compound. New innovations that they've added to the bow is basically your compound has an off-center wheel. Now, this is our basic traditional bow that's being used in the Olympics today, and this is what we're going to be using for our lesson.
Now, there's two other items that we must figure out how to use. First of all, we have the arm, what was it called?
Arm guard.
Arm guard and the fingertip guard.
Right.
Okay, let's see how they work.
This is the basic arm guard that we're going to be using today. It protects the arm from string brush. And the finger guard goes on the right hand, like so. Now what we're going to do is we're going to set up your stance in relationship to our target. Now bring your feet around just a little bit, just a slight angle to the target. That sets you up. Now shoulder width, point your toes straight ahead. There we go. That'll get you up, lined up perfectly with that target. The bow has a nice contour grip for you. So just relax the hand. Let the bow fit into that relaxed hand, like so. There you go. Okay, now let's set up the back sight. This particular bow has an adjustable front sight. Now all we need to do is come back, set up, draw back, drawing that top finger to the corner of the lip. Now swing that elbow straight back, right to the corner. There we go, tight into the cheekbone. Okay, the next step is going to be to load an arrow and go through an actual shot. Load the arrow by placing the odd color feather out away from the bow. That's the cock feather. Now, set your hand, grip into the bow, fingers on the string like we practiced. Drawing it back right to the corner of the lip. Aiming. Now we're ready.
Ken, how easy is it to get started in archery?
The easiest way basically is to look up an archery club or a pro shop. They're all knowledgeable in getting people started with the basics that people want to, as far as the people want to go, whether it be the traditional recurve style or with the compound.
Okay, now how about lanes for beginners or ranges for beginners to get started?
Well, myself, we have a basic pro shop. We're set up with a youth program as well as adult programs, so that it's very inexpensive to get started through the lesson programs.
Okay, sounds like a lot of fun. I had a great time. You're a good teacher. Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
This might look like the Wild West, but we're still in Los Angeles County. This is the Bonelli Park Equestrian Center, operating one of the few steer roping arenas in the county. The arena was developed about 10 years ago by ex-rodeo star Les Jones. We asked Les why he thinks steer roping has become so popular.
To me, it's a a pastime with businessmen and all kinds of people that come here. The girls take part, and some people play golf, and some shoot pool, and our people come here and rope.
This is team roping, in which one member ropes the head of the steer while the other ropes the hind legs. The team with the fastest time is the winner. Frank Ryan here with Dean Weber. Many of you may remember Dean from Channel 13. He's over at ABC now, and he's going to explain to us a little bit about what's going on here and what you see as far as the roping and the general outlay of the area. Okay. Dean, take it away.
First of all, it looks a lot like rodeo, but really you got to think in terms of golf or tennis.
Golf?
That's what it is to these guys. It's seriously, it's a relaxation.
Oh, okay.
It's a pastime and an endeavor, and it gets very serious, but people very seldom get hurt. And this particular sport called team roping really lends itself to that kind of relaxed recreational atmosphere, because you don't have to get off your horse and flank a 350-pound calf that's trying to kick your head off.
For the beginning roper, Les and his staff provide lessons starting with basic roping techniques, working up to the more advanced methods. The sport provides a real challenge for the adventurous cowboy or cowgirl wanting to try the western art of steer roping. Well, as in any business organization, we have management and we have labor. We'd like to introduce you to the labor. Well, if you've never tried roping and you think you might like to give it a whirl, come on out to Bonelli Park. And if you're not so great in the saddle, it's still a lot of fun to come out and watch a little bit of the Old West right here at home. Stay with us. Parks Are for People. We'll be right back.
That's it. I'm history. End of the road.
You can't quit, Vince. No crash dummy takes out a utility pole like you do.
Larry, for years I've been proving how safety belts save lives, but nobody's listening.
Sure they are.
Yeah, that's why thousands die in car accidents every year. I feel like I'm banging my head against the wall.
Come on, Vince. Tomorrow's the big day. 2 compacts. Head on.
High speed?
Could save a life.
No, I'll be there.
Yeah.
You could learn a lot from a dummy. Buckle your safety belt.
We're watching LA County Youth Soccer. We think you'll get a kick out of this, so let's catch some of the action. Frank Ryan here at Victoria County Park in Carson for the first annual South Region Youth Soccer Championship. And with me is Roy Williams, who is the Recreation Services Manager for the South Region. Roy, welcome to the show. Could you tell us how many county parks are involved in the program?
For this year's a pilot program, we had 6 teams from 6 sites represented in the tournament.
How many boys and girls are involved in the program?
Yeah, we had over 450 kids this year.
450?
Yeah, boys and girls.
Tell us a little bit about the basic philosophies, purpose of the program.
Yeah, the major purpose this year was to give exposure to the inner city kids who haven't been exposed to soccer before. It's a pilot program. Hopefully, with the interest we generated this year, we'll be able to continue next year.
So the sponsorship looks good for next year?
Yeah, hopefully the Coke and the AAF will be able to sponsor next year. We're looking forward to it.
Well, best of luck to you. It looks like it's going good down here right now, and continued success.
Okay, appreciate it.
Thanks for being with us.
Okay.
The Youth Soccer Tournament was the culminating event for the 8-week program. The co-ed teams are grouped into 2 age divisions, 4 to 6 and 7 to 9 years old. The kids are taught basic soccer skills, and sometimes they fall right into the swing of things. Tournament is held in December with the first and second place teams receiving individual awards for their efforts. The first season of youth soccer was sponsored by the Amateur Athletic Foundation, Coke, and the County of Los Angeles. Soccer is a growing sport here in LA. The kids love it, and the parents think it's a kick too. Can you imagine flying a stunt plane doing a horizontal roll, a split S, then diving straight towards Earth only to do a death-defying loop at the crucial last second? Well, you can, and you don't even need a pilot's license. All you need is a map and the ability to find your way to the Antelope Valley Model Air Park in Lancaster. Model airplane enthusiasts require quite a bit of open space to practice their Emmelmans and Lomshavonks. The desert provides an ideal spot for these pilots to be able to keep their feet firmly planted on the ground while they pursue the outer limits of their sport. This 80-acre model airplane park is located just northeast of Lancaster. It simulates a real airport with its 400-foot runway, 3 taxiways, and even scale markings for that added touch of realism. On my right is Mike Freeman, who is the president of the Antelope Valley Tailwinds, and Mike will tell us a little bit now about how the club was developed.
The club originated about 29 years ago. And RC was still in its infancy, and it was just a need for people to trade information. And I guess you could say the club's come a long way since that time.
How many members do you have now?
We have about 65 members currently, and I'd say a good 15 of them's here now.
How about the special events that are held in this part of the club area? Do you have things that go on here that aren't held at other places?
We have an event known as the High Desert Classic, which is sanctioned by the Academy of Model Aeronautics. It's an AMA pattern event where we have judges come from the West Coast and judge flyers on their ability.
All right, Mike, thanks a lot.
You bet.
With us now is Ralph Marshall, a member of the Antelope Valley Tailwinds Incorporated Model Airplane Club. Ralph is going to give me a basic lesson and describe some of the basic characteristics of this interesting hobby here.
Yes, it is, Frank. This is about a medium-sized airplane. It's a 40 size. That's a Como 51 engine. It's a gas-powered 2-cycle engine. This is a training system here. The same basic controls on both of these. As the instructor has the primary box here. Each time I press this button, you are flying. And so if something is going wrong, I let go of that and I have control. So there's not a chance to crash this. This plane has only had 1 flight. We'll be on the 2nd flight, so you have a brand new airplane here.
All right, Ralph, I'm kind of anxious to get going. Let's give it a test run here.
All right, we'll get the engine started here, Frank. Okay, now you're going to have to put your thumb on that right-hand stick.
Okay.
Okay, and go side to side like I was doing. You have it now. Okay, let me take it again here. Bring it by again. Okay, we're down.
Now, there are a few things to remember. The afternoon desert winds tend to make flying treacherous, so it's better to fly during the morning hours. There is a $2 charge for using the air park, or you can become a member of the Antelope Valley Tailwinds Club. The air park is open from dawn to dusk, 7 days a week, although most of the flying is done on the weekends. If you'd like to try flying model airplanes, come out to Lancaster and discover a truly model airport. Stay with us. Parks Are for People will be right back.
Bad days. Everybody has them.
Hello? No, not even with both of us working. The baby is crying. I gotta go.
Even the littlest thing can set you off. Stop. Take time out. Count to 10. Get hold of yourself before you take hold of your child. Write Prevent Child Abuse, Box 2866, Chicago.
You know, sometimes it takes an artist many years to create a masterpiece. In this case, it took Mother Nature 60 million years to create the Devil's Punch Bowl. The Punch Bowl lies southeast of Pear Blossom, where the Angeles National Forest meets the Mojave Desert. In an area once covered by ocean, these formations were created 13 million years ago by earthquake action from the San Andreas Fault. As the mountains were being raised, the 10,000-foot layer of sand left by the ocean was compressed, folded, lifted, and finally tilted into these shelves of rock. Fossils of animals that lived in the Punch Bowl about 13 million years ago are found in the pink-colored sediment. One of these fossils was that of a prehistoric three-toed horse. The area was discovered in 1853 by W.P. Blake, who was sent by Secretary of War Jefferson Davis to find a route for the railroads. The early settlers who tried to cross the bottom of the canyon found the terrain difficult and therefore named it the Devil's Punch Bowl. The Devil's Punch Bowl is 5,000 feet in elevation. We've made the trip down to the bottom of the canyon, and as you can see, this is an area that receives a substantial amount of snowfall during the winter months. The canyon is 300 feet deep. At the bottom is a stream that continues the ancient erosion process. The Punch Bowl is a unique natural contradiction. The canyon is on the desert floor, and the sandstone rifts of the canyon rise into the 5,000-foot mountains which tower above the desert. As a result of this, the area's vegetation is also a contradiction, with specimens characteristic of a desert environment on the floor of the Punch Bowl to pine forests as the canyon rises into the San Gabriel Mountains. The 1,310-acre park provides a beautiful getaway spot which includes a mile-long hiking trail, picnic tables, and a nature center which will help you enjoy and understand the area. We encourage you to take advantage of the Devil's Punch Bowl, just one of the many county parks that are here for your enjoyment because, after all, parks are for people. On a recent Sunday, Arcadia Park was hopping as it hosted the Hillside Netherland Dwarf Rabbit Show. We weren't quite sure what makes a champion rabbit, so we asked the show's judge, Scott Williamson, for a few pointers.
We're looking for disqualifications and elimination in the rabbit. We check the ears for any ear canker, which is can be a problem in rabbits. It's a disease that occurs from time to time. Then we look at the eye color and make sure there's no discharge from the eye. We look then at the nose to make sure there's no signs of a cold or respiratory problems. And then we check the teeth on a rabbit, because the teeth on a rabbit grow. A rabbit has 28 teeth total, but it has 6 incisors, and these incisors grow 3/4 of an inch a month. If they don't chisel and meet properly, they'll occlude, or malocclude I should say, and the rabbit cannot get food into its mouth. So that's why it's important that the top teeth shoot over the bottom teeth and that they chisel, because these are the teeth that the rabbit uses to get food into its mouth. Then we check the front legs to make sure that they're straight, and also make sure that there's 5 toenails on the front feet and that they are the proper color. Then we'll check the back toenails and feet, make sure that they're straight, and that there's 4 toenails on the back feet. There's a dew claw on the front, and that's why there's 1 more on the front leg. And we turn the rabbit back over, and I feel underneath for any abscesses, tumors, or ruptures. And then you always want to make sure a rabbit has a tail, because a rabbit without a tail really wouldn't be a rabbit, right?
If you'd like more information about local rabbit shows, give us a call, because sometimes parks are for rabbits, too. When William S. Hart died in 1946, he left a legacy of Western movies that he'd starred in. Not only that, he left the public this 265-acre estate here in Newhall. Hart began starring in motion pictures in 1914, creating the first classic image of the Western hero. During his 11-year career, Hart made over 70 pictures. His mansion was host to some spectacular Hollywood parties in the Roaring '20s. Hart retired after his last film in 1925. Hart purchased the estate in the 20s and lived here until his death. He once remarked, and we quote, "When I was making pictures, people used to give me their quarters, dimes, and nickels. When I am gone, I want them to have my home." Hart's ranch and museum is now called the William S. Hart Park, which is operated by the Los Angeles County Department of Parks and Recreation. One of the most impressive features of the mansion is Hart's valuable collection of Western art. These works include paintings and sculptures by such famous artists as Charles Russell and Frederick Remington. Many of these artworks are displayed throughout Hart's estate in the same locations that Hart placed them years ago. There is a fine collection of handmade saddles, ropes, and spurs. True to his cowboy movie image, Hart also had a large collection of handguns. Outside the mansion, there are nature trails and many beautiful examples of native oak and pine trees. There are also lawns and tables which are perfect for family gatherings and picnics. Open to the public from 10 a.m. till dusk, Hart Park offers the park-goer a unique look into the Old West and the life of one of Hollywood's greatest Western stars. When William S. Hart gave his home to the public, he did so on the condition that no fee ever be charged to those who enter. He did so because he also felt that parks are for people.
America's parklands, for all, forever. But only if we share and care. Take pride in America. A message of pride from your National Park Service.
Coming up in January and February, there are a number of events we thought you might be interested in. First, winter softball leagues and tournaments are forming at various parks throughout the county. The Pepsi Youth Hotshot Basketball Area Playoffs will be held January 18th at the Southgate Sports Arena. The Charles White Art Festival and Auction is coming up on the weekend of February 7th and 8th at Farnsworth Park in Altadena. Many after-school recreation programs are being formed at various parks throughout the county. For information on those or any questions you may have about today's show, give us a call at area code 213-738-3034. For the Los Angeles County Department of Parks and Recreation, this is Frank Ryan encouraging you to take advantage of what the county has to offer, and maybe our camera will catch you in the act as we explore why parks are for people.